On this channel, I do talk about the fact that you cannot care about everything. You have something that you care about and some things that you are not really caring about. And today I talk about that again, about priorities and about the fact that society and its expectations sometimes don't make sense when we are talking about caring about something. More about that in a moment. But obviously, before we begin, I have to tell you that this is Yury Experience, and here I share my various experiences about different topics. I currently do one video per week, I upload it on Monday, and if you will enjoy this video, please drop a like. You can also subscribe to the channel, you can also leave a comment. Let's go! In my opinion, a lot of things that we care about come from our priorities. We prioritize something in our life and then we care about it, or about that person, or about that social group. For example, if you are a patriotic person, you prioritize your country in your worldview and you care about it. You care about politics, about social groups in the country, how the state of life is in the country, and you would probably prioritize these thoughts about your country over the thoughts about other country, about some foreign country that you are not a patriot of. Another example, hobbies. Normally, if you have a hobby, you prioritize it to some degree in your life. Otherwise, why do you do it? Why would you do it? Which means you possibly care about how your hobby is doing in your social group. Or maybe you are caring about this hobby overall in the world. Maybe some world championship about your hobby. So for example, you play tennis, so obviously you care for tennis, but you maybe don't care about cooking championship somewhere in Great Britain. It's not something that you prioritize, so you don't care about it. And the last example is LGBTQ+ community. And that is not only example about prioritizing something, but also participating in. If you are a part of LGBTQ+ community, then you probably also prioritize thoughts about the community over thoughts about other communities. Like you care for gay rights, or you care about gender roles and what laws are applicable to gender roles, but you care less maybe about racism, because that is not something that you participate in terms of on the receiving side. I hope you don't participate in the giving side of racism. But there are also intersectional thoughts in terms of LGBTQ and race and feminism and whatnot. So you can kinda care about everything in terms of discrimination, but mostly people first care about their own stuff and then secondly about stuff from other people. That is my experience with life, with a lot of people, and that is what I also heard from various different people. But it doesn't mean that society also works like that. Somehow society expects us to care about everything. Every problem that exists in this society and outside of this society, that influences the society and that doesn't influence the society, we shall care about each and every one of them. Look at the news. News provide you a hell lot of information, and in current times mostly bad, negative information about your society, about other societies, but they do prioritize some specific topics and they neglect other topics. And that leads to some people seeing some problems and completely ignoring other problems if they don't explicitly care for other problems or they explicitly look for information about other problems. Which brings me to another point. In my personal opinion, it is better in reality, in real world, for individuals to care for some specific topics, but not for all of them. To singular digit amount, mostly under 5 amount of topics, and pretty much ignore or don't really care about other topics. Why am I saying that? If you care about less stuff, you can invest more time, money, energy and whatnot in that stuff. I already covered this topic. Most of us don't have enough resources in our everyday life to invest ourselves in everything. We will spread too thin. And spreading ourselves too thin leads to the fact that we almost don't have an influence at all. But let's come back to the topic of society said that we shall care about something. And I want to talk about news of our current recent times versus what also happens in the world at the same time, same or similar or same problem, but people don't care as much, and also news don't cover that as much. Also, I need to mention the group, the Giving What We Can group. It is effective donation group where I do participate in, because they do spread some information about like these conflicts outside of the modern radar of news outlets. They look a little bit outside of the border, but a lot of donation groups do that, not only them. I just mentioned this one because I do participate in this one. And I will provide two like major example groups. And the first one is war. Currently we have a couple of wars in the world, and my question is, how much of them do you know about? You probably do know about Ukrainian-Russian war, or at least you heard about it, which is still continuing, but is not getting as much coverage as it got like 1 year ago. But it is still continuing. It is a still important war in terms of how big power goes against one power, which is supported by a lot of other big powers. Then we have Israel-Palestinian conflict, where basically we have two small countries which interact with each other, and behind the backs of both of them are a lot of bigger countries that also participate, but not directly. They do not show themselves. But you probably at least have heard about both of these conflicts. Have you heard about Ethiopia's civil war? That is also happening like right now. I'm not sure whether it ended already or is it still going, but it was ongoing during recent time. Have you heard about it? And I assume most of you didn't. Most of you have heard about first two conflicts or wars, or call it however you want, and know about it, at least something, but you probably haven't heard about the war in Ethiopia because news outlets in like their majority didn't cover it. Because it is not as important. But is it not as important? In my opinion, every war is important, every conflict is important equally. At least in terms of world eye. World doesn't care which people die, what influences what. In terms of world, people die, it is bad. Like pretty simple. But societies don't work like that. Societies prioritize some news over other news. They also don't really have a choice because there are way too many news in the world happening simultaneously. And individuals don't work like that because we also cannot comprehend everything. For first reason, because we are not able to, like physically and mentally, and second reason, it is very difficult to find information about everything from all possible point of views, because there are a hell lot of point of views. Another example, problem in the world, and on one hand we have the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. It is a disaster, it is nature-made disaster, I think it is called like that. A hell lot of people died, and based on my knowledge, excavations are still done up until now. Up until this point during my recording, and until that point where you will watch this video, if you are watching it on Monday, where I uploaded this video. And also we have famine in Myanmar. Did you hear about it? There is famine in a different country where people starve to death. And I'm not even talking about the countries where people starve to death regularly, like without famine. So have you heard about it? I assume not. Because probably you have heard about like some specific acute problems, but not the problems that are continuing over a longer period of time. And again, in eye of the world, it doesn't matter what disaster we are covering. Everything shall be, in theory, covered equally, but in reality, it doesn't work like that. And it is not possible to be like that, to care about everything, to donate money to all the possible causes and basically give your all livelihood away in order to exclusively help people with problems. Because your resources are finite, but the problems in the world are infinite. In conclusion, I want to tell you there are no more important and less important problems in the world from objective point of view. Like, from objective point of view, people dying is bad, and it is point. If it is happening, we shall try to prevent it. But that only works in an ideal world. In real world, we have finite resources that we need to know how to spread mostly efficiently, like as efficiently as it gets, so as many people as possible profit in some way from this investment, from this donation, from this like something time investment or energy investment. And that starts normally from people caring about something specifically. Like not caring about everything, but caring about something, specifically creating an organization that covers this problem specifically, people who donate, people who invest, finding people who are interested in helping to this specific issue. But I have never seen an organization that covers everything, that tries to help everybody and everything. Each organization covers some specific topic, some part of life. And if all of them function properly, function good, function successfully, if all of us do try to help these organizations, then the world will become better. But thinking about problems alone will not solve the problems. Doing something solves the problems, normally, usually. But only thinking about it, maybe having loud and big conversations about it, but not doing actually anything, it will not help anything. If nothing is done, normally nothing is also changing. That's kinda how real world works. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it is the case, please drop a like. You can also leave a comment, for example, about your favorite donation, or about your priorities, or about what you are caring about. And I hope I see you next Monday. Have a great week.